How should we introduce our
What?
Whoa. That was cool. How should we, do an introductory for this episode?
Why? What do you mean introductory?
Yeah,
Introduction.
Hello, everybody. This is our podcast.
Should we get that more in line?
No.
Should we make that more?
No.
No? Okay.
I like how we don't have anything.
Okay. Because I was listening. Are you recording?
Yeah?
Oh, okay. I found a new podcast today called, well, they're not new. They're really old, actually. They're called History Goes Bump.
Oh, okay.
And they're a really good podcast, but they do scary historic places.
Oh, that's cool.
But they have a whole setup. They are very organized. They share the same story. For the big story, they share the same story, and one of them tells a part, and then they switch off, and the next one keeps on going, and then the next one keeps on going. They just alternate between them, and one of them sounds like a news anchor, which is pretty cool.
That's how Wine and Crime is.
They go off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of serious podcasts.
Speaking of podcasts,
we have
this
a podcast.
is our podcast. Hi, guys.
What's with the neighbors? And that's Amy.
That's Bree.
We are an a cappella podcast.
Ba-da-ba.
What's with you neighbors?
What's with the neighbors? What's with the neighbors? What's with the neighbors? What's with the neighbors? What's with the neighbors? What's with the neighbors? What is that?
Weird.
I had Mexican for lunch today.
You ate a Mexican? Amy.
Yes.
I thought we didn't believe in cannibalism here.
I had one uno enchilada.
Ooh, was it delicious?
Yeah. Okay. So we want to thank everyone for spending an hour or so with us. We love getting together each week after researching stories and facts and putting them into a format to share with you. We love you. And it is our pleasure. If you like us so much, you should subscribe on whatever streaming platform you're listening to, and follow us on any social media platform, WWTN Podcast. If you love us, you should subscribe to our Patreon and get an exclusive content, extra episodes, and much more at patreon.com/WWTN Podcast.
Thanks, everybody. You guys are amazing.
Um,
You're the reason why Amy and I get together every single week.
yeah,
so.
otherwise we probably wouldn't see each other.
Yeah, we see each other, but
Probably not as much. I'm not gonna lie, Brie. I'm a recluse.
It makes me sad, but that's okay. I am too. I don't like to leave my house.
I really just want to put him outside. Both of them.
Not again, guys.
Come on. Okay, so Brie, who's going first this week? I went first last week.
Okay, I can go first this week because
Okay.
I forgot good neighborhood story.
I have a neighborhood story for you. Are you ready?
Oh, fantastic. I'm so ready, dude.
Oh, but before we do it, I have two questions for you, Brie. This is the Get to Know Brie podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Amy. I'm going to ask you in reverse since you're
Okay.
coming up with... I need to just come up with some questions.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
So I have two questions for you this week.
Whoa. I thought we had a deal for one.
So this one is, what is something that everyone looks stupid doing?
The first one that comes to my mind is sneezing.
Sneezing.
Because
yeah.
no one looks good sneezing.
No.
Or you try to grab a tissue and you end up missing, or the one where you have snot in your nose and you get snot everywhere and it's disgusting.
Ew,
It's just,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess sneezing would be one, but I feel like I could think of so many more things.
Okay, I haven't seen a lot of people do this, but wiping your butt.
I was gonna say pooping.
Or pooping.
You should see my kids poop. Since Natalie's
I found this on the web.
Thank
Oh,
you,
geez.
Siri, for listening to my poop conversation.
So you say sneezing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just thought of this because I didn't think about it because I wanted to be on the whim like you. I think when you're drinking out of a clear glass and you see the people's teeth and inside their mouth.
Ew.
You
It's
know what?
gross.
Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
It's gross.
And I go
Yeah.
I haven't seen one person that does that that's like attractive.
I'd say eating a banana, but that's not really that bad.
No, it's not.
Only if you think dirty thoughts.
Or like eating I was gonna say like biting into a watermelon, but that's not bad. Eating a big burger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I make disgusting faces on purpose, though, whenever I eat burgers. I go, especially if it's a good one.
Okay, so here's another question. Are you ready?
Okay.
If you were wrongfully
I'm going to be thinking about the answer the entire time, by the way, and I'm going to come up with new things.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like,
good.
opening the blinds. That's not one.
Putting on a shirt. Like
Yeah,
a tight
taking
shirt.
off a hoodie.
Yeah.
Especially if you have, like, your hair nice.
Yeah.
It looks super awkward.
Okay, so if you were wrongfully put into an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you actually are sane and not just pretending to be sane?
I mean, I'd try to act normal, but if I was wrongfully put in there, then I probably was acting normal. So I would try to act weird. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I think that I would just like list off everything that I'm really good at.
Yeah, but they're not going to believe you. They're going to be like, lady, shut up. And then they're going to shoot you with something. They're going to like
I
give
would
you
come
an
with
injection of something to make you
facts.
pass out.
Like hard facts.
Facts. In the second grade, I won a spelling bee.
That sounds like you need to be there. Like if you come up and
I
you're
did
like,
not, by the way.
if you come up
Never
and
been
you're
in a
like,
spelling bee.
fact, when I was in the first grade, I was riding my bike and fell and broke my teeth. Fact.
Battle.
In
Pete's Bears. Battlestar Galactica.
yes. Yeah. Fact. Like if you just like fact, and they're
In
like
that Dwight voice. I would just start pretending to be someone else then. I'd find someone on a TV show like Parks and Rec. I'd be Leslie Knope, or I would not be Andy Dwyer. That would get me kicked out for
Yeah,
sure, or
you
get
would
me
be.
kicked in more.
yeah.
I'd be like God. Everybody in that show is nuts.
Pretty much.
I think Donna Meagle's like the only one that's like,
I
or
agree.
Jerry.
Jerry's probably
God,
the most normal.
Jerry.
I love when gosh dang it, I forgot his name.
Larry.
No.
Gary?
No.
Chris Traeger.
Treat yourself.
Oh, Tom.
Tom Haver whatever.
Hagerford.
Yeah. So when he is like talking about like growing up or something like that, and he's like, ew, what do I want to do? Like go home to a beautiful wife that cooks food for me and my 3 beautiful children and have dinner with him and then go to bed? Ew. What?
He's
That
such a
life
Jerry.
is so boring.
Is that the one where he has to redo the logo?
Yeah.
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 Jerry's a
love
hot
it.
wife.
Oh, so I wanted to take a video of myself today because part of the job that I'm covering for right now is like sending out letters that people have printed or wrote up, and you type in the address and then you put it you fold the paper and you put it in the envelope, and then you take their address and you put the sticker of their address on the envelope, and then you stamp our return address in it, and then
Gosh,
okay.
so many steps.
So I was doing that, and I was like on a
But
frickin'
easy work,
roll.
yeah, great.
I was on a roll,
You were.
and I turned to Julie. Shout out Julie. I turned to Julie. She's a listener. I turned to Julie, and I was like, "Man, if I don't feel like Gary right now."
But it ain't government work if you don't have to do it twice. Oh, I forgot to put the things inside.
I felt like him so much today. And I wish that she would have responded with grabbing her phone and be like, I'm canceling dinner. I gotta watch something or whatever she says.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyways, okay.
I love that scene.
I wanna tell you a neighborhood
Yes.
story.
Do you have a neighborhood story?
Yeah.
Dear God.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh, don't become all
Skip,
those
skip,
other...
skip, skip, skip,
Yeah.
skip, skip, skip.
Also, did you listen to this episode this week? Man, it's so good.
Is it? Yeah, I think I can't remember if I did.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. So this one is
Yes, I did. Sorry.
This one is called, it's from Nextdoor. Lessons in posting to Facebook Marketplace, eBay, and Craigslist. I feel like we actually already read this one. I have tried over and over, but cannot upload pictures to Facebook Marketplace. I would like to barter a pie for an in-depth lesson. Depending upon the fruit you choose, a pie can cost over $30 to make and takes a couple hours. I think it's a fair exchange. I especially need to end I especially need to end the lesson knowing Facebook Marketplace. In fact, I am more than willing to learn just Marketplace. Thanks for your consideration and the request.
So they want $30 and for someone to provide the fruit.
No. They're saying that they will make the pie. They're saying that the pie is about worth $30.
Okay.
And in exchange for
To
the
teach them
pie,
how to use
someone
Facebook.
will. Yeah,
I can't. Aw.
that's really cute.
Oh, that's so sweet. Aw. We actually just taught Josh's mom how to use Facebook Market.
Oh,
Because
good.
she has a whole bunch of stuff that she needs to sell. And then,
Yeah.
like, we're trying to get her to sell her crafty things.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to her, Donna, for possibly listening to us. And if you're not listening,
No more.
if you didn't get this far, then, you know.
All right. What
No.
is the story that you are going to share with us this week, Bree?
Well, since we're talking in that tone, I am doing one out of the book. So, because I haven't done one out of the book in a
Fun.
while,
Yeah.
and I'm covering Washington. I am doing the Thornwood Castle in Washington.
Ooh, that sounds.
It's very extravagant.
We both have castles in ours this week.
Oh, well, excited.
Oh, so
All right, so I'm doing the Thornwood Castle. It's located in Lakewood, Washington, and many believe that it was the inspiration for Bly Manor, which is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Really good series. And also the mini series by Stephen King, Rose Red, was filmed here.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool, pretty
Yeah.
recent. All right. In the early 20th century, Chester Thorne, a wealthy but generous businessman who founded the National Bank of Tacoma and did a lot of other things in the community. Like, the list is super long. This guy was awesome.
Wow.
And, like, not a jerk. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
That's
That's not common.
yeah, no, exactly. Like, he gave back. So in 1908, he wanted to settle down with his wife and his daughter Anita. So he bought 100-acre piece of land in Lakewood, like just for 3 people.
Okay.
He planned for it to be one of the biggest and most authentic mansions on the West Coast.
Oh, wow.
He purchased a 400-year-old castle in England, had it taken apart and shipped to the States. Like, who does that?
He does.
In, like, the early 20th century, too.
That's
like,
that's bananas.
holy cow.
Yeah.
So, it took a fleet of 3 ships to deliver all this stuff.
Can you imagine? Okay, hold on. Let's back up. Can
You're
you
good.
imagine being the person that's like one of the workers doing this? They're like,
I'd be
yeah, so
pissed.
some rich folk in Washington.
Yeah, like, maybe it was going to be decommissioned or something like that, but still at the same time, like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You really went all out. The oak staircase paneling and front door came from the estate. I don't know why I wrote that. The red bricks were imported from Wales, and the stained glass windows, some of the stained glass from the windows were salvaged from 15th and 16th century churches, which can be found in some of the windows around the castle.
Wow.
So, on the property outside of the mansion are acres of color-coordinated gardens that went with the seasons. One of them being Mrs. Thorne's secret garden, is what she called it, which she would enjoy through her sitting room. It also featured many fountains and sculptures, statues. It has over 27,000 square feet of living space, including 54 rooms, 22 bedrooms and bathrooms, being officially completed in 1911, costing at $1 million, which is a little over $31 million today.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is a big. This guy was not playing around,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of history on this. I'm sorry. Well,
No, I love
I felt the
this.
need to include like the how
I
pretty this
also
place is.
feel the need to encord things.
Encord, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important.
Stop it.
Now, I bet you're thinking, this place is huge.
Yeah.
A family for just 3? Who is in charge of the dusting? Well, no more fretting there. The
I
estate,
just figured it was just maids.
yeah, it was. They had 40 servants.
40
and
servants?
28 gardeners. And eventually, Anita, the daughter, had a family of her own, and her own children lived there for a while.
I also would want to live there. Like, I wouldn't
Right?
want to leave.
I would never leave. You would never see each other
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll be in the West Wing.
I'll be in the east.
Yeah. We could all have north, south, east, west. Like, boom. Every family's got their own wing.
Yeah.
Uh,
And their own maids and
exactly.
gardeners.
Yeah.
And
They got plenty of stuff.
I would never want to leave.
Snacks. I bet the pantry was like loaded. Best pantry ever. And probably a great wine cellar.
Yeah.
Washington's got great wine.
I don't care. Even if my husband was like, no, we're leaving, I'd be like,
Okay.
goodbye.
So this estate was quite the extravagant mansion. So I bet you can guess they had some ragers here, getting lit on absinthe and doing the Charleston.
Oh, jeez.
Mr. Thorne was known to throw some lavish parties and was even visited by some U.S. presidents, including Teddy Roosevelt. This guy, he's
got
everywhere.
his hands in
This
every
guy,
ghost story.
He's so cool. I wish I could have known this guy.
I know.
And William Taft, which I found out today because I asked Josh because I couldn't remember which president I heard was here, and his last name came to me. I was like, Josh, Taft, that's a president, right? And he's like, yeah, he had to have a special bathtub made for him in the White House because he was too fat. And I was like, oh, interesting fact. So now you guys know Taft had a extra large bathtub made for him.
Wasn't he only served one presidency?
I think so.
I think he was the one.
I think that's what I saw about him because I had to search him for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, even with all this wealth, Chester Thorne was known to be a kind and generous man and always giving back and had a large hand in building Tacoma. Sadly, on October 16th, in 1927, Mr. Thorne passed of an illness, which I believe it was cancer, and he passed in the mansion, leaving behind his daughter and wife. Anita, the daughter, had been married with 3 children, still residing there, and had left the estate in 1937. Also, with her second husband for his job, and her mother also followed her and went somewhere else because she didn't want to be in this giant mansion by herself.
I don't
So she
blame
moved to
her.
like this smaller place.
Yeah.
But they all
Her
eventually
smaller mansion.
right. It basically. So they all eventually returned. Miss Thorne followed Mr. Thorne just 27 years later in 1954
Just
and died
27 years later.
just 27 years later. Followed Mr. Thorne 27 years later in 1954 and passed away in the mansion, leaving it to Anita and her husband, General Stone, and their children.
Wow.
After Anita's husband passed in 1957, she sold the home to a Harold St. John who left the mansion on 4 acres and sold the rest of the land for 30 home sites, and parts of the home were converted into apartments, which is super annoying. That annoyed me.
Apartments?
Yeah, like really? Like you're going to take this beautiful, amazing home and turn it, but I guess maybe they couldn't afford it, so that was probably a good way to
Yeah.
like make payments on it.
It just kind of
And then also the
sucks,
time
though.
period was kind of like the depression. No, that was the 20s.
What
Was it
what year
Depression?
was it?
It was 50s. It wasn't the
50s.
Depression area.
It's just
era.
really sad though because they took this castle from
Yeah.
England and then it ended up being
apartments. Yeah. In 1965, that guy had sold it, and it went through a couple more owners. And in the 80s, the home was added to the National Historic Registry. In 95, a Richard and Deborah Morale purchased the property and planned to restore the manor back to its original
Oh,
state.
good.
So renovations had started. Everything's going good. Lastly, in 2000, Deanna and Wayne Robinson finally purchased it from the previous owners and are continuing renovations and
Cool.
restoring the home. And it is gorgeous. They've done so much work on it.
Wow.
It's so pretty. So there's tragedy here.
Uh-huh.
Not super dark, not too much, but there's tragedy everywhere, so I feel the need to mention it.
Okay.
Now, I couldn't find any history on the building before. Like, my question was, what was this castle in England? Like, what happened there? This thing was 400 years old.
Yeah.
I could not find anything anywhere. I almost called the people. I did email them, but they didn't email me back. But I should have called them. But anyway, there's got to be some history there in 400 years.
Because it was there for 400 years before
Yeah, and
it was
then they
taken
moved
apart.
it. So yeah, that building itself is at least 500 years old.
Someone has to know something.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Thorns had their own problems. Anna, Mr. Thorne's daughter, contracted scarlet fever, or Anita contracted.
Oh, jeez.
Her name is Anita, but they also call her Anna, like the wife. So I think her name is Anita, but they call her Anna too.
Or maybe like that's her middle name.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She contracted scarlet fever, which caused her to go deaf in one of her ears.
Oh my god.
So like she would often like she had to wear a hearing aid, and she would often be like super embarrassed to come out during social gatherings, so she would go and hide.
Oh, poor baby.
So I mean, she didn't die or anything, but it was still kind of sad.
Yeah.
Another tragedy was when one of the grandchildren drowned to death on the property in a pond. Then also to mention Mr. and Mrs. Thorne, they died on the property.
Right.
And prior to moving to Washington, the Thornes had originally 4 children. They only came. Did they have 3? They either had 3 or 4 children. There was nothing on the other children, only Anita or Anna.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I can only assume that they probably died, especially at the time.
Maybe they gave him back.
They just put him back in her. Just like, nope, we don't want you. They gave him back. All right, let's get into the stuff that you're here for. Paranormal.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Let's get to the dirty deeds. As you know, there's been a lot of history here, which can lead to some hauntings.
Uh-huh.
While there haven't been any reports of anything evil or like malevolent here, the spirits here do seem a bit mischievous. The owners report candles being found blown out all the time.
I love that.
Light bulbs are always unscrewed. And they think that the Thorns liked it, the lighting dimmer.
Okay. I like that they just unscrew the light
just like,
bulbs. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You're just like in cat heaven over there. Come to our podcast studio where you can pet cats. It's like one of those like
Cafes.
Yeah. The current owners claim to hear phantom parties.
Oh.
Deanna
What a bummer that you're hearing
You can't
parties
even go
and
to
you
it.
can't go to it.
So Deanna, one of the owners, has talked about one night while reading a book in the Great Hall, the room suddenly lit up with sounds and sights of a cocktail party, of at least 100 people dancing, talking, and drinking, and someone even dropped a glass. It was as if she stepped back into time and joined one of Mr. Thorne's party, which she was clearly out of place.
That is so
So,
weird.
And wine glasses have been found broken too, so which they think could be with the parties.
That's
It reminds me of The
so
Shining.
weird. Yeah.
Sightings of Chester have been reported around the property, mostly in his bedroom where he died. He has been seen walking through his bedroom door, going past the bed, then disappearing into the bathroom, which they say he's kind of like a routine ghost. Like he just goes back to what he would do before he died.
Right.
He's also been seen around the lawn and near fountains. The Robinsons, who own the place, have claimed to see Mr. Thorne standing on the lawn, wearing his horseback riding gear, holding a whip, or even on a horse.
What?
I don't know if it's a ghost horse or if it's a real horse, but
That would be weird if it was a real horse.
Yeah, the horse is like, what's that?
It's
Is it
just
okay?
yeah.
Okay,
They're
I know.
like, where did the horse come from?
Can
I keep it?
Well, they have a horseback riding. They have a horse stable
Oh,
there, I
okay.
believe, because you can actually go like horseback riding there. Too.
Right. Okay.
There's so much stuff you can do there. And Mrs. Thorne, Oh, maybe it's Anne and Anna. How the hell did I not realize that? The daughter's Anna and the mom's Anne, I think.
Okay, but come on.
Hold on. Let me go back real quick and look at that. No, I put Anna in the beginning. It's got to be Anna. Okay, it's not Anne. Anna, a Mrs. Thorne, can be spotted at the second floor window, I assume, which could be her sitting room, overlooking her Pride and Joy garden. And
Oh, her secret garden?
yes, but wait for it. Also, Mr. and Mrs. Thorne have also been spotted locking arms at the top of the staircase, dressed for an event, moving and then just disappearing.
Oh.
And then they talk about how this place was like built on love and stuff like that. So it's really
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh, I love that.
The children and grandchildren have also been seen sitting on the porch or standing on the lawn in front of the ornamental fountain where the boy drowned.
Oh my gosh, Brie.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah. He has also been seen in front of the water area where he drowned, and guests will see him and they'll like go rush to him, and then like there's no one there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to tell you. Okay, so one time, speaking of like drowning children,
Uh, is this appropriate for the podcast?
so one time, when my family and I went to Disney World, we were at a pool at the pool at the hotel that we were staying at. And it was like this like mini like water park, and like all of a sudden there was like this baby drowning, and like someone jumped in and like freaked out, grabbed the baby, and it turned out being a doll, like a like it looked like a real baby though. And the guy came out and he was like yelling at the lifeguards, and they're like, "Congratulations, you passed the like they like test."
What?
Yeah.
It was like a secret test?
Yeah.
That's duh.
Yeah. It was like everyone was freaking out. Yeah.
Dude, you need to come up with a better test.
A better test
because
to
you've
make
got to give someone a heart attack.
Yeah, dude. It was
Somebody's gonna die saving this baby.
Yeah.
It's a fake baby.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
It was so messed up. That guy was so mad.
I would be too. I'd be like, I'm not working here. Nah.
He wasn't even working there, Bree. It was a customer.
Was it like a prank?
No, the lifeguards do it like once a day or something.
Oh, and okay, gotcha.
To like see how
What?
responsive people are. I don't
That's
know.
not their job.
It was weird.
That's your job. That's why you were a lifeguard.
I know, it was so weird.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I would complain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a letter.
Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. That's really messed up.
Yeah.
It's a good story though. All right. In Anita's room, many have reported seeing her apparition in the room, and in the original mirror that was in there when she lived there, people have seen her as well. Dark shadows have been seen moving in the room, and guests who've slept in the room have claimed to hear sounds of a grand piano at night.
Oh, I
I know,
like
it's
that.
so peaceful.
Yeah.
Anita's second husband can also be seen, and that's like the bridal
Oops.
suite too. So like a lot of people, like it's like a pretty fancy room.
Oh, yeah.
Anita's second husband can also be seen in a brown suit, classy, in the room across from Anna's bedroom, serving guests offering to do their laundry. One guest claimed to find his clothes neatly folded over his shoes shortly after seeing his spirit.
I need that in
Right?
my life.
Like, what was his name? Like General Snot or something? General Snot? It was not General Snot. That is so rude. I don't remember his name. It was like General something. General something?
Hello, my name is General something.
Anyway, can you do my laundry? Thank you. All right, so as of today, the Thornwood Castle is still owned by the Robinsons, and they are still working and renovating it all the time, and they're always updating people about it.
Okay.
The home is open to the public for events, parties, and you can even step back in time by staying the night at
Oh.
this romantic and lavish mansion, which is full of many amenities like theaters, museums, and indoor and outdoor activities like horseback riding and stuff. So
Holy cow,
lots of
Brie.
stuff there. It's actually not that expensive either. Like I've seen
Can we
like
stay there?
I want to, because it's not like scary haunted. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, I'll fold your laundry for you. It's
Yeah.
literally my least favorite chore. So thanks, bud.
I absolutely love that.
So I searched for some help. I'm scared reviews.
Uh-huh.
I found like 2 little small ones, but they're not really big.
Okay.
Clearly that's why they're small. So this one is titled Superb and has 5 stars. And it
Superb.
says, my son got me to stay in the rose red room on my birthday, and after a festive Russian wedding, we had the entire castle to ourselves. So cool.
Whoa.
It was an amazing opportunity to step back in time and experience a bygone era. I think I even captured some ghostly images on my camera when I was when I was wandering around at midnight. It was the best time ever. Marilyn.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
This one is titled Rose Red Stay, and it has 5 stars as well. And it says,
Okay.
many thanks to the Robinsons for saving and restoring the castle to its former glory. Only found one secret passage, and I'm not
What?
telling. That's the only reason I saved this one, is because I was like, wait a second, a secret
you see him?
passage
He's trying to eat the knob.
of the mic?
Yeah.
No, bad boy.
No.
But he ended it with, is it haunted? Stay the night and decide for yourself.
Oh.
You won't regret it. Rusty.
Rusty.
And that is all. That is
I
the Thornwood
love
Castle
that.
in Lakewood, Washington, which my grandpa lives there. So I need to ask him about it.
Yeah, we need to go. We'll go visit your. Stop it.
I want to go visit my grandpa.
Brie, I think that's one of the first ones you've ever done, or at least that I can remember right now, that they're like friendly ghosts.
Yeah, they were really friendly.
Like this, there was nothing
It's like very
sinister.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they left their lives like very like calm and like
Yeah.
peaceful.
Normally people die.
That's why that's why I don't think I could find a lot of Yelp reviews, because there was nothing scary that really went on.
I still like that. Wouldn't
Mhm.
you? I don't know. I like it. I would stay there
I want scary stuff.
willingly. Speaking of stories and reviews and everything like that, did you know that we take listener stories? Tell us about anything spooky that happened to you or someone you know. Wire fraud, murder, ghost, or UFOs.
Were
We wa-
you abducted by aliens?
We want to hear about it. Does your neighbor sunbathe naked?
Oh,
Tell us about it.
let's hear
Um,
about them cheeks.
Send them to wwtnpodcast@gmail.com. So I learned about a new podcast this week, and it's called Even the Rich. And they cover things like all the like dirty deeds and the good deeds.
Oh, is it one about like? Does it have like famous people in it?
Yeah.
I think I heard about it. I think
Yeah.
I heard an advertisement about it.
Yeah, I really like it. It's called Even the Rich, and they covered like Beyonce.
Do they
and
do the
Jay-Z and
royal people, the royal family? I heard
I
one about.
think that they did. I haven't listened to that one. I don't really care about them. They did like Britney Spears, like everybody that's rich. They do the royal family. Meghan and Prince
Bruce.
No, not Bruce.
Philip? Is it Philip? No,
No, William.
Prince Eric.
It's not Prince Eric.
Charming. Sorry. Yeah, that sounds. I think
so
I've
it's
heard
really
about
it was
them.
really cool. So, I'm gonna tell you. So this I got the idea from them, and they did like a 4-part podcast. What are you looking at?
There was a big old chunk of Leon's hair, or
Oh.
Tony's hair, just flopping by your head. We can tell our listeners, look it closely and you can see an orb. Oh, that's just a cat hair.
So I got the idea from them. They did like a 3 or 4-part podcast on them. They're very long episodes, but so after I share this story, because you need to listen to me first,
Okay,
because I
sorry.
said so.
I'm listening.
Go like they cover like every single detail about this story. I couldn't cover all of it.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but then I'd also probably be like,
Missing some chunks. Here for a long time.
we'd be here for a long time. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about Patty Hearst, also known as the girl, what they call her, like the uh, American royalty
Ooh.
and her kidnapping and how her parents didn't pay her ransom. Can you imagine? Like, you're
What a
kidnapped
slap in the face, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Okay.
I'm not worth a penny.
Not even a penny.
Not even a penny.
Her name is Patty.
Sons of bitches.
Not even worth a patty or a Krabby Patty. So Patty was born on
Maybe
February.
she was a Krabby Patty. Sorry.
Patty was a Krabby Patty.
Mm-hmm.
So Patty was born on February 20th, 1954, to the wealthy parents of Randolph and Catherine Campbell. Randolph's father was the publisher and owned multiple papers, magazines, and even television channels across the country. The Hearst Communications is what it was called, owns 50% of A&E Network, 20% of ESPN. The other 80% is Walt Disney World. But Hearst also owns like the San Francisco Chronicles, Houston Chronicles, Esquire, and even Cosmopolitan.
So they're not poor.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
With being the largest newspaper, newsreel, and movie business in the world, it gave the family a high dollar name, allowing them to have their hands in many political moves as well.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the Hearst family was one of the richest families in the U.S., in 2022, they were the 12th in line. So last year they were still
22. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
they're still they're 12th in line for the richest family in the world. Guess who's the richest family in not in the world, in the United States?
Kardashians.
No. They're not even on the list.
The Trumps.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure he went bankrupt.
Yeah.
A couple times.
The Waltons.
Oh, okay.
They own Walmart.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Oh, Sam Walton. Yeah.
So Randolph didn't have much money to liquidate, though. All the family trusts were tied up with the heirs' interest, but it was never like an issue. They never worried like.
So we are affiliated with one of the richest family in the world.
Yes.
That's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. So you guys go to our website.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy something from Walmart, hit our website first.
Go through our link.
Hit our link. We get a kickback for it.
Yep. Thanks.
If you love us. So the parents never really thought like it was an issue. They have money, but it wasn't like they had a lot of liquidation.
Okay.
So it wasn't an issue. Patty was the middle child of 5 girls, 2 older girls and 2 younger. She was smack dab in the middle. I get it.
Middle child. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, middle child syndrome. It's real, you guys. It's real. Her mother was busy being the homemaker while her father worked for the family business. The children would spend their summers at the Hearst Castle. Speaking of castles.
Ooh.
You want to know where the ceilings came from for this place?
Oh
They
my
dated
gosh.
back to the 14th century from Spain.
This place is haunted. This place
Probably.
is seriously haunted.
It had fountains and pools, indoor and outdoor, with a private rotating zoo.
What?
With exotic animals over the top. The water was piped in from like the mountain springs nearby. Like, it was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
And looking at photos, I feel like one of the pools was a scene from the Fast and the Furious, actually. I'm not lying. I really think that it was one of the pools is from Fast, like,
it's the Hearst Castle.
yeah. I'm pretty sure in one of the scenes in Fast and the Furious, that pool is in it. Also, as of today, the zoo no longer exists. However, some of the native animals can be found roaming the area along with zebras.
What?
Yeah. They lived in San Francisco, California, in the Hillsborough community, which is like the Beverly Hills of San Francisco. Patty and her sisters were not allowed to wear blue jeans outside of the house, and her parents were pretty strict. Patty would act out to get attention by skipping church and refusing to do chores. She also told, so she was sent to an all-girls boarding school to get her act in line, and she told one of the nuns to F off.
In her defense, my grandma said, like, Catholic school is rough.
Yeah. So once she graduated high school, being the middle child, she wanted to rebel since she was the forgotten child. I get it. She insisted on going to college at the University of California, Berkeley. Her parents were pissed about that because even though Brie, they have like multiple halls and libraries and stuff named after their last name, like they've put so much money into Berkeley, her parents still didn't want her to go to Berkeley.
my
They wanted her
gosh.
to go to Harvard. So
Berkeley's a really renowned school, too.
yeah, but they saw it as like the hippie school.
Oh, my gosh.
The surfers and potheads go there.
It kind of is. But, or I don't know. I've never been there. But, I mean, like, Harvard is for, like Elle Woods.
Pretty much. Regardless, she insisted on going. She moved there with her boyfriend, Stephen Weed, to an apartment outside of the university grounds. On February 4th, 1974, Patty and her boyfriend were sitting on the couch in the apartment her parents paid for, and when there was a knock on the door. So Patty answered it, and she's like, oh, what? And there was 3 people at the door, and they said, we ran out of gas. Can we use your phone?
Oh, gosh.
And remember, this is the 70s, so they don't have
It's
cell phones.
not, yeah.
Patty called her boyfriend over. She was like, I can't deal with this, and started to walk to the bedroom. So her boyfriend starts to talk to them, and then she hears a commotion. She turns around, and they're like beating him up. The strangers then tied him up, and then a neighbor hears a commotion as well and comes over, and they tie the neighbor up and beat him
Oh
up
my
as well.
gosh.
They kidnapped Patty and take her to this house and put her in a closet with a gross bed inside of it.
Oh,
Poor Patty.
poor Patty.
Since she was such a high-profiled family member, since her family was so high-profiled, they didn't have to go to the FBI about her missing. The FBI came to her.
Okay.
And obviously, like, her boyfriend reported her kidnapped. So they didn't say, like, oh, she ran away. There were reporters outside her home almost immediately once the word got out that she was missing and kidnapped.
Yeah, they were so famous.
Yeah.
Like us.
Yeah, like us. Every time, you guys, you should see the reporters outside my house, like, right now. Every Friday night. It's
So annoying.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's so annoying, actually. Brie has to, like, hide to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with my sunglasses.
Yeah.
Totally makes me look like a different person.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. Or your hat.
Transforms you. Yeah, completely.
Boom. Different person.
Every time her parents looked outside the window, it seemed like the amount of reporters would double.
It's his mouth again.
He's
All
such
I
a
see is
jerk.
his mouth and nose.
Like, why do they have to sit right there? Right there, of all places. It's going to be so hard finding footage for the preview.
It's too bad I can't, like, go underneath him. I mean, I could and, like, make his mouth move as you're talking. Like, beep, 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 beep.
Come on, dude. The FBI also, they couldn't do much because they were waiting for this ransom to come in. So normally ransoms come in within like a couple hours of the kidnapping, right?
Right.
Back at the house Patty was kidnapped at, she was panicking. About 3 hours later, finally a man opens the closet door and introduces himself. His name is Sinkyu, and said that he was
Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry. Thank you.
his name was he introduced himself as Sinkyu, and he was the general of the Symbionese Liberation Army, aka SLA, which is a small group, but Sinkyu claims it was a huge army with summer camps and different outposts across the country. They claim that they will change the world. They're going to make separate states for Black and Latinos. They're going to eradicate monogamy, marriages, and everything in between.
Okay.
And it was just like a small group of people, but
Yeah.
he thought it was different.
Right.
So the FBI and Patty's family waited and waited and waited, like I said, for this ransom note. But nothing came in, which was odd, like I said, because the ransom notes come in like within hours. And it had already been 2 days.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So on February 7th, finally a letter came in to a local radio station from SLA asking for the letter that they sent for all the news outlets across the country to be published. They said, publish this letter. That's what we want. And luckily, they just happened to own like every news outlet and
Like, oh, cool.
newspaper available. So they're like, hey. And the letter basically claims Patty is a criminal because her parents are rich, which is like, it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
Against the FBI's advice, the family does what the SLA says. They allow the letter to be published across the nation. And 5 days later, the SLA sent a recording of Patty, claiming that she wasn't starved or beaten, but she also said no one to go look for her. She said, I'm fine, I'm eating, I'm not being beaten, but no one can come look for me,
Okay.
which is strange.
Yeah.
Then Donald DeFreeze, aka Sinkyu, comes on the recording demanding the Hearst family to give $70 worth of food to every person in California in need, and they only have a week to play out their requests. So, like, the family's like,
Okay. That's basically saying, okay, your ransom is give money to someone in need.
no, not food, like, buy food
right,
for them.
right,
Yeah.
right. But food,
But give-
stuff that they
yeah.
actually need.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a bad ransom.
I mean, it's actually, like, they're not
It's-
wanting the
they're-
money for themselves.
Sounds like they're doing a good thing, kind
Yeah.
of, other than the fact that they kidnapped someone
Right.
out of their free will. But
Right.
But she's not like complaining.
Or is she? We'll find out. So, after doing the math, Randy, the father of Patty, determines he would have to spend $40 million after, like, finding out how many, like, people are under the poverty line.
Please put that in the poverty poverty
Like, he had to get the statistics from around
Right.
each city, and then he's doing the math, and he's like, oh my gosh, I would have to spend $40 million, which in today's money, Brie, is over $2 billion.
Yeah, but still, he could probably like sell a couple cars. He probably has like a bunch of cars. You could probably sell some of these limited edition cars you likely have, or like your summer house,
Yes.
or your winter house, or your fall house.
Yeah.
You're rich, we know it.
Your spring house. Don't forget about that
Yeah,
one.
you're in your spring house.
That
You're
one's
still
in
rich.
Utah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I was trying to think of where you get the tulips. Where are tulips grown? Probably not Utah.
Washington, I think. I don't know. I think they're two
Idaho.
in Washington.
I don't know. So I started watching YouTube about this, and the guy said that if they were to buy a fully loaded brand new F-150 straight off the lot with no discounts or anything like that, every single day, every single member of the Hearst family, every single day, and just took it straight to the dump and drop it off there for a couple years, they still
Wouldn't hit that.
wouldn't even hit that. Yeah, like, or not hit that, like, it wouldn't even put a dent in how
Right.
much money they are worth.
Okay.
So it was like, that's like how much money they have. It's ridiculous. So yeah, $2 billion, nothing for them. So remember how I mentioned, though, that the hearse money wasn't super accessible.
Right.
Randy had no idea how he was going to get his daughter back. So he called everyone he knows and pleaded for help, but by everyone he knows. He's like, please, can you donate money? Donate money, donate money. Which I don't understand why they didn't just like say like, hey dad, can you like give us some money?
Yeah.
Because his dad is the one that works for it, owns the company.
Oh yeah.
The grandpa.
Yeah.
So I
Because
didn't.
it's a family thing.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just like contact the grandpa at first. I'm not positive on how that worked, but
Maybe he didn't like Krabby Patty.
maybe. But like I said, like they didn't have a lot of liquidation,
Right.
so no one could really help, unfortunately. And another tape came in, and it was Patty saying, "Whatever money you can come up with is good enough for us." And so they're like, "Okay, we'll see what we can do." So they started at 2 billion, and now they're just like, "Give us whatever you can." Really? So Randy's money managers agreed to give him $500,000, which is really crappy.
Yeah, like here's $500,000.
Here's 5,000.
Like your daughter's in moral, like in danger.
Yeah. So here's 50,000
she might
or
die.
500,000. Yeah. And his father's charity agreed to donate $1.5 million, bringing it to $2 million that he had raised. And since the community
And
food,
how much did he need 40?
he needed, I think it was 4 million.
4 million. Okay.
40 million.
Okay.
You were right. Yeah. So, but then they came back and they said, whatever you can get is fine. So,
Okay.
he's like, great. But since the community food programs were not a thing yet, he couldn't just like give the money until the
Right.
community food programs like, hey, do something with this money. He had to come up with a way to get the money to the folks needing it on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to figure that out. So 6 days later, Randy announced to the press that in 3 days, his program he created will be launching to provide food to 1,100,000 people. That's so many people, Brie.
Yeah.
But instead of releasing Patty, the SLA released another tape.
Oh my gosh.
It stated an angry demand of $6 million more for the people they represent. But instead of trying to meet those demands, Randy decided to go through with their plans and hope it was enough. So he was just like, I'll just ignore them and hopefully they go away. I'm just going to do this and
I'm gonna
hopefully.
pretend like I didn't see this email. I know. Internet was not there.
So the food that they delivered, Brie, were racks of lamb, shrimp, tri-tip, top quality food.
What?
So they're just like deliver they so
Like,
stupid.
give them some ground beef.
Like,
Do you
tell
know
me
how much you can stretch a meal with ground beef
Tell
and
me-
loaves
yes.
of bread,
and non-perishables.
milk, eggs? Yeah, exactly.
Tell me that you are so privileged you
Like-
don't even understand what is like necessities.
Yeah, food that you can freaking stretch. That's like a fancy dinner for one night.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need something that's gonna give me leftovers.
Yeah.
Noodles,
Noodles,
ramen,
pasta. Come on.
noodles, pasta,
I just
elbow, more noodles,
the people are like
fillers.
yeah. Canned peas, canned
Rice.
beans, canned chili, canned corn.
Like, did you have you really rich people? Have you never had to eat? Well, his dad was rich too, so like, and so which means he was always
Yeah.
grew up with that lifestyle.
I mean, can you imagine like
Tell the maid I'll have a mimosa and a tri-tip for breakfast.
like you're okay, let's say
And they're just
that
gonna throw it away and like order something different because they're like, nah, I'm not really hungry for it anymore.
you've been living
Lobster.
you've been living off of Top Ramen and whatever you can get from the food bank, or they didn't even have the food bank then. Whatever, living off of Top Ramen for like months, and you come in and they're like, here's a rack of lamb, and you're like, how do I cook this?
What the heck?
They-
Like, I don't have an
Thank-
oven.
Yeah, I don't have an oven. Oh, here's some shrimp that you're going to have to put on like the cooler.
I
And
use my bathtub
to
to cook. So
I have a tiny mini freezer.
not that I'm making fun. I am totally like just siding with you guys.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous that they gave this people. Anyways, okay, so like I said, they should have opted for like canned food,
But
non-perishables.
also, if it was your birthday and you come in and this is it, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm eating good this year. Sorry.
Tri-tip. For those that don't know what tri-tip is, it's one of the best meats. Like, below,
Yes, it is. And you can make it go a long way.
you can.
Yeah.
You can make tri-tip sandwiches. You can,
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like right below ribeye.
Yeah.
But a lot of people on
It's
the
like
East
a
Coast.
ribeye mixed with like a filet mignon.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people on the East Coast don't know what a tri-tip is.
I never knew until I moved. Well, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh loves steak.
Yeah. So, it obviously created a huge fight. Also, everyone was fighting over this really good food, and everyone was freaking out over the good quality food. Like I said. Okay. So the parents decided to just stop working with the SLA and made a statement saying the matter was out of their hands, Brie. What happens to you, daughter, happens
They
to
didn't
you.
even, first of all, you didn't even come up with the original amount.
Yeah.
Second, what did they come up with? Like 2 million?
2 million.
All you had to do was 6 more.
Yeah.
Like that's not even half of what they asked for originally.
Yep. So
You suck.
they're like, oh well. You know what doesn't matter is our house.
Is our middle
Or
child.
our middle child. We love our house more than you.
Yeah, like our castle.
Our castle. It's a really crappy. Let's not sell our exotic animals. So eventually the SLA starts welcoming Patty into the house. She's been there long enough. Without a blindfold, she would slowly start to like become more and more comfortable with the people inside the home. They learn that no matter how much money her family owns, it's not something she can control. So they were like, oh, okay, like kind of like almost feeling bad for her.
Yeah.
in a
It's like,
sense.
oh man, this sucks for you. They really don't like you.
We kidnapped the wrong person, the wrong daughter. She starts attending their meetings that they would have, learning their codes of conducts and beliefs and that sort of stuff. Even though she was leaning into the theory of the group and pleasing the people, she believed that she eventually was going to be able to leave. So she was just like, all right, I'm going to like lean into this, but I'm not believing it.
Fool
I'm
'em.
just, yeah. She had to do everything she could to earn their trust so she could eventually leave.
Which is what you're supposed to do, right?
I would
Like
think
you're
so.
supposed to like earn the trust of
Yes,
if
yeah.
you're kidnapped.
Yeah. Patty started doing these tactical routines that the group would practice. They would march and they would run. They would carry like these heavy backpacks full of guns and ammunition. She even had to master tucking and rolling and coming out onto her knees with a gun in each hand, like James Bond style.
She's gonna come home and be a badass. This is for you, Dad.
This for you, Dad. Eventually, Patty was expected to like sleep with the men in the group, though. Unfortunately, more like rape,
Ew.
because she didn't want to do it, obviously, but she needed to stay alive. So she
Right.
was just like, she didn't want it to happen, but she didn't want to fight it because she
Right.
would just get hurt.
Yeah.
So
She's trying to keep herself alive and
yeah. The group decided that they needed to make another statement about the eat the rich, so they decided to rob a bank. But Patty was told she needed to make a statement to the security cameras about who she is and who she represents now. Obviously, Patty was numb when the meeting was happening. She was just like, "We're gonna do a what? Rob a bank?"
right.
And so she was like really hoping that no one would realize like she was not comfortable with this. The group shows up to the bank and Patty goes to the deposit counter to pretend to write a deposit. Everything happened so fast she forgot what she was supposed to say to the camera, like the security camera. So But by the time she tuned back in and like became unnumb, she heard everyone yelling, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." So she ran back to the getaway van. And everyone in the group was so hyped up and congratulating one another, it was clear that the robbery was a success. After footage confirmed Patty was part of the robbery, the Attorney General confirmed that Patty was no longer a victim and was now a criminal.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so they're like, no one,
Patty.
we're not going to look for her anymore. Like, she's just a bad person. After watching the footage of her new
What
title,
if she's being forced to do it?
they didn't care though,
Oh,
Brie.
my gosh.
So
And
she,
they had a control of the media, too, so they can make her out to be a bad person, too.
yeah.
Ugh.
So after watching the footage of her new title, she realized she was probably going to be a hostage in this group forever, because she's like watching the news and she's like seeing these people say like, Patty's not a victim, she's a criminal. She's like, great, this is my life now.
That sucks.
Yeah. She started allowing her body to go onto autopilot and would let orders of Q to happen. So he'd be like, go do this, and she would just do it. Like, she was just on autopilot. She was put into a smaller group of 3 with Bill and his girlfriend Emily. They basically Q wanted everyone to like be in a smaller group and go out and recruit more people. So, May 16th, 1974, Bill and Emily, along with Patty, were told to go pick up a pack of socks for Q. He's like, I really need my fuzzy socks. Can you please go to the sporting good
The ones
store?
with polka dots, please.
And make sure that it's infused with aloe.
Mm.
Yeah, please. Bill and Emily went into the sporting goods store and Patty stayed inside the red and white bus. Bill couldn't help himself and shoplifted, even though they were even given money for this job. Patty eventually sees Bill and Emily fighting with 2 store employees. So to scare the employees, she grabs a gun and shoots into the air to scare the employees and the people around them. The couple runs towards the bus and they eventually took off in the vehicle. Bill and Emily decided they needed to put many vehicles between them and the bus as possible, so they started to steal other vehicles, like multiple times.
Like, as they're getting away, they stole vehicles out of the parking lot? Or
No. So, like, they drove away,
Okay.
they stopped, found a car, stole it, left the bus, drove away, stopped the car, stole another car.
I see. Switched a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, switched a
Gotcha.
lot of vehicles. So Emily also decided they needed to blend into a big crowd. She was like, we need to get into a crowd and blend in. So after stealing all these vehicles, they find a large crowd. Bree, tell me where you think they went.
This was where? California?
In, yeah, Southern California.
Disney?
They went to Disneyland.
Oh, snap.
I always try to find a way to incorporate
Yeah, you
Disneyland into
do.
my stories. They first get a hotel near the park before they go, and they turn on the TV to watch the news. Every single channel had a footage of the SLA's safe house. And they're like, how did they find them? And well, they found them by following another vehicle to the house
Oh.
So the 3 watch in real time as the other members refuse to come out, as officers threw tear gas into the windows to make the members come out. They're just like watching their friends
Right.
fight these officers. The members started shooting back eventually, even though that they had no idea what was inside, and eventually the house caught on fire and not one member came out to save themselves. They all just like died in the fire. And the media assumed Patty was inside. With all the other members dead, Emily told Patty Bill was now the leader. Emily's like, everyone's dead. Bill's the leader now, Patty. And Patty's like, yay. They go from hotel, and Patty was in a daze. She was bullied by the couple, and they would often make fun of her for the weak person she was, which is really sad.
Yeah.
The
Well,
two,
you did abduct me, so, you know.
yeah, I mean, Yeah, sure. I'm weak because you kidnapped me. Yeah.
Good job.
Way to go. The two attempted to recruit more members, which they did, but they weren't the same as the other people. They were living off rice and beans and celery, which I thought was funny. Celery. It's like the most
Yeah, I was
unnutritious
gonna say no nutritional
vegetable.
value. Peanut butter? No,
No,
just celery.
just celery. Celery is basically a spoon for your peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's like an excuse to just eat a bunch of peanut butter.
Yeah. It's the only way to eat celery, in my opinion. Celery's
yeah.
gross.
I don't even in like soups and stuff. Don't give me celery. It's gross.
I want it cooked all the way if it's in a soup. I don't
Yeah.
want the crunch.
No, it's gross. So they planned on robbing another bank because they needed money. And when I say they, Patty had no say in it. She was just a ghost in the group, just going through the motions. On February 25th, 1974, two new recruits rob a bank outside of Sacramento, California, without a hitch, and they scored $30,000.
Dang.
But that wasn't enough for Bill. Bill's like, I want more. Which is so weird. Like $30,000 can get you a
Yeah.
long grocery list.
Yeah.
So they planned to rob a bigger bank, and Patty was forced to help. After weeks and weeks and weeks of practicing and like going through the drills of exactly what they're gonna do and everything like that, April 21st, the group plays out their robbery. But during it, Emily shot a well-off woman with children, which is really sad. And the others playing out the robbery forced Patty to be their escape vehicle. Patty was like devastated. She was like, oh, like, I cannot believe this actually happened.
Yeah.
The crew was upset that they had to leave Sacramento because the FBI said it was the FBI basically said like that's the SLA robbery, like that's their moves, this and that. So they were like bummed they had to leave Sacramento. But Patty couldn't get over the fact that Emily shot a woman. Right. The crew eventually met back in San Francisco, and they were in shambles. They had multiple attempts of making a statement to the local police. It was never successful. They would make homemade bombs and like put them in not trash cans, and mailboxes, and
Sounds like a terrorist organization, or like a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, they were just like going crazy. They were like erratic.
What can we do today?
Yeah, basically like trying to like make statements.
Sounds
but
like
it was
Fight Club.
Yeah, it was very unorganized, and
what's the first rule? Don't talk
they
about
didn't talk
SLA.
about it, obviously. They didn't talk about SLA. Yeah. But nothing was as great as the first group, like I was saying. So Patty eventually separated ways with some new recruits with Bill's permission. Like, Bill realized, like, this group is like, I'm not a great leader. So if you guys want to leave, go ahead.
Bye.
Yeah. So the group wanted to flee the state, and Patty thought, wait, why can't I just like stop running? Like,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to go
I was
home
wondering
now.
whenever they went into a crowd, like I would totally dip out then.
I know, but she was just like,
she was on the run too then.
yeah, she was. Yeah. So she's like, wait, I can go home now.
Yeah.
And so September 13th, 1985, while Patty was at the kitchen table in her apartment she shared with the two other new roommates, two FBI agents break down the front door, and Patty raises her hand and surrenders. While in jail, Patty received letters from people who hate her and people who loved her. A lot of people who hated her, and a lot of people loved what she did and what she was representing. But also Charles Manson, you know, the cult leader, wrote her, and he said, I can help you.
Oh.
Isn't that creepy? She's like, no thanks.
I'm good.
And an attorney that helped O.J. Simpson get off finally got to meet with her, and her parents and family members started to visit her. And this attorney was hired. Yeah, the attorney was hired by her family.
Oh, they actually paid for him?
Yeah. Yes.
You'll pay for my lawyer, but you're not going to pay for my ransom?
Because they could put it on a credit card, baby.
Yeah, right? Jeez.
she finally started to loosen up after family started to come around. Her therapist eventually diagnosed her with Stockholm syndrome, and she said she'll eventually come around. Patty was sentenced to 35 years in prison for the robbery she was involved in, but it was reduced to 7 years.
Good.
And there's so much more details in all of this, especially this part alone. Like, her lawyer was a piece of junk, but it was reduced to 7 years and then later reduced to only 2 years by President Carter with time served.
Okay.
So once President Carter, he did like a semi-pardon. He was like, okay, yeah, you can get out of jail. And she was able to get out with President Carter's help.
Wow.
Then eventually President Carter wrote President Clinton and was like, I regret not pardoning her all the way. And so President Clinton pardoned her, so it wasn't even on her record anymore.
Aww.
The rest of the SLA members were finally arrested in 2002, and Patty is now a busy bee working with charities and handling show dogs for the Westminster. Is it Westminster?
U.S. Minister.
No, Westminster Kennel Club.
Yeah.
Show dogs. Dog show.
Neat.
And she's a widow and has 2 children.
Oh.
Okay. But she also was like acted in a couple movies. And there was a blockbuster movie made after her. So she like really did a lot of work.
Yeah.
She's in a
Sounds
couple
like it.
movies. It's like called Serial Mom or something like that.
Oh.
Not like this, like not the food, but like Killer
right,
Mom.
right.
Killer Mom, I think maybe it's called. I don't know. But yeah, so she did a lot of work afterwards, but
Yeah, she freaking.
She
sounds
raises
like she
great-
Hustled.
yeah, she raises German shepherds.
Oh.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
Her
So
parents suck.
yeah.
Like, you guys suck. If you are still alive, you suck.
Her parents eventually divorced, and her dad married like 2 other
Oh
times,
my
and
gosh.
so.
You guys are terrible. You are terrible parents.
But Brie, this story is so fascinating, and it's a huge
just
deal.
her part, like the fact that
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she was pardoned, because like she had no choice.
Yeah.
For majority of that, like she had no one to help her. She was just trying to get through it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I get being stuck between a rock and a hard place with having to put her in prison for the robbery.
Yeah,
stuff.
like the prosecutors wanted to like make an example out of her. Like, we're gonna put the rich white girl to jail,
Yeah.
and she's not gonna get any slack
that's what
from
it
us.
sounds
Yeah,
like. But like she really didn't do anything.
she didn't do
wrong.
anything.
But they also don't know the way she thinks. But she could be. But I'm sure they.
She
got
came out
input
with a
from her
memoir.
therapist.
Yeah, she came out with like 2 books, I think, about it all, and yeah, Drunken History.
Patty
you know that
Hearst,
show?
is that right?
Hearst. Yeah, Drunken History.
Yeah.
Did a thing on her with Kristen Wiig. She acted like her. She played her in it. There is so much information out there. This podcast, I think, did the best job about covering everything.
What was the podcast called again?
It's called Even the Rich,
okay.
and it's the kidnapping of American royalty
Okay.
is what it's called. So
Interesting.
yeah,
That was a good story.
I enjoyed it. I was having
Dang.
a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Drunken, I really didn't take any information from Drunken History because I was like, I don't know if I can believe what you're saying. But it was fun watching.
Yeah.
You know the actor in not Reno 911, with what's his face and what's her face, and it's a
What's his face? Is he a comedian?
yeah. I'm on a boat.
Oh.
The precinct something.
Not Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, the
Terry
black
Crews?
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
He plays in that one.
Why'd you
black.
say I'm on a boat?
Because I was trying to think of the show that he's in with
Oh,
the
with
guy.
Andy Samberg. You
Yeah.
were connecting a lot of
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
There was a lot of string there, but we got there.
Sorry.
It is unwoven.
It's unwoven.
Woven. that
do you,
was a very good story.
thank
Liked
you.
it.
Do you have? I was excited to tell you about it.
All right. So I found this on Bing because my computer keeps on redirecting me to Bing.
I'm
because
so
it has a
sorry for
virus,
you.
So it's fine. And it is titled "No More Big Shits."
Okay.
I think it's an email. So, hey guys,
Hey.
please don't take any more big shits. Shits over 3 pounds in your bathroom toilets. If you are eating a lot and holding your shits all week till Sunday and taking a big fat shit, please stop. The clay pipes can't handle the weight of
Clay?
the shit. If you feel a large shit in your ass coming on, please take it at a public library. Peace and love, landlord.
Why? I have questions.
I don't
Who is
know-
having
I
3
don't know
pound
if this is
poops?
to like an apartment building or what, but
Who-
it's an email.
Who is having 3 pound poops?
I feel like some of my poops are at least like a pound and a half.
3 pounds. That's a lot, Brie. That's a lot of poo.
I mean, that's
Because think about
I
it.
guess like a
'Cause-
cucumber is like maybe like not even a pound.
But poo is not heavy either. It's like,
What are you talking about?
okay. Who is weighing the poo?
Not over 3 pounds. That is a lot, actually. You're right. Because, like, not even a whole meal could weigh 3 pounds.
I mean, think about
it's just like
pound.
a tomahawk
like-
steak and some potatoes. Potatoes, those weigh a lot.
Yeah. Not when they're cooked.
It's like a 3
though.
pound bag of potatoes.
Yeah.
That's how much your poop weighs.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, you're right.
Think of like the 1 pound burgers.
Yeah.
1 pound steaks.
Yeah.
That's a
You're
lot of.
pooping 3 1 pound burgers.
Yeah.
Who does that?
And who's
And
weighing
also,
it?
Who is telling me that I can't poop in my own toilets?
And why do we have clay pipes?
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack here.
The clay pipes can't handle it. Well, maybe you should replace the pipes.
Who's
Are we on some kind of like, I don't know.
who I want to know what kindergarten project they had to do to make these clay pipes. But what on earth?
Put them in the kiln. Oh,
Ugh.
the next set of pipes is ready. Time for the next ones to go in.
So what did you do in class today? Oh, we made poo pipes
Poop pipes.
with clay. Oh man, you guys, we're gonna get ow.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Do I need to say anything? Or
I
has
don't-
everything been said?
I think everything was said.
I think everything was said.
Bree, have you checked in on?
Oh my gosh, Leon. You were saying?
Bree, have you checked in on the neighbors?
What's with the neighbors?
Bring
Amy
Amy
out.
out. Psh.
What's with the neighbors?
Say hi to your cats for us. Say mom. Here. Say mom. No, say mom. Say mom. Say mom.